Love, Chapter 4, Blessings and Shadows. My daughter came by today, carrying blessings that grounded me, small things, shampoo, food, kindness, that felt like anchors for a mind constantly drifting. She has this way of showing up, of sensing what I need before I know myself. As grateful as I was, a pang of guilt tugged at me too, knowing it should be me taking care of her, not the other way around. But today, she was steady for both of us, offering me the reassurance I couldn't find within myself. I started talking, unraveling the doubts that slip in like intruders, casting shadows across my thoughts. I told her how I found my medication, just as it always was. Yet, I couldn't shake the feeling it had been taken, stolen when I wasn't looking. I know it's ridiculous, I told her, but it's as if my mind won't release the idea, insisting on something dark where there's nothing at all. Why do I keep doing this to myself? I wondered aloud. She watched me with soft eyes, holding something I couldn't quite name. It was more than sympathy, maybe worry, but mixed with understanding too. She's seen this side of me before, the spiraling doubts, the constant second-guessing, but she never brushes it off. Instead, she placed her hand on my shoulder, and in that small gesture was a silent promise that she'd be here, no matter where my thoughts took me. Then I found myself talking about him. The other me, really. The man who appears in the mirror with his own shadows, his own battles I recognize all too well. This man drifts in and out of my life, trailing behind him the same doubts and darkness that twist up my mind. He's the version of myself who gives in to despair, who doesn't believe he matters, not to himself, not to anyone. He told me he could disappear and it wouldn't hurt him. I murmured, half to her, half to myself, as if the words might somehow make the pain clearer. She weighed my words carefully, piecing together the puzzle I laid before her. Maybe he just needs someone to listen, she said finally. Someone who won't judge his shadows. Her insight was gentle but hit deep, stirring a new worry. If we were both feeding each other's darkness, I wondered, could we actually help one another? Or were we just deepening the shadows, each of us trapped in our own minds? And then came the question that haunts me every time. Why do I always imagine things being taken, stolen, even when I know it's not true? It doesn't make sense, and yet I can't stop myself. My daughter had no answer for that, and neither did I. Maybe it's a trick of the mind, a way of turning deeper fears of losing control, of being let down, into something I can see. Maybe my mind conjures an enemy just to give me something to blame. Later, I shared the story with a friend, someone who's listened to my twisting thoughts more times than I can count. He nodded, understanding, then gently suggested, maybe you're just trying to make sense of something senseless. Maybe your mind looks for patterns even when there aren't any. I wanted to believe him, that I was simply searching for meaning in the chaos. But deep down, the question still lingered, twisting me up. In the end, all I could do was exist in the space between knowing and doubting, trusting and questioning, a fragile balance that felt like it could break at any moment. And as I stood there, looking at my reflection, I saw both of us, me and the other man who's a part of me, each holding the shadows that keep us tangled, each wondering if we'll ever be free.